Learning music by ear is easy as long as you make it easy, and here are some ways that I do that every single day when I practice. The act is called transcribing, and I want to help you to get into transcribing, a beginner's guide to transcribing, an easy way to make transcribing fun and enjoyable and to learn the tunes that you want to learn. So stick around. My name is Nick McLean. This is the NM Music Channel where we talk about anything and everything related to the modern musician. So at the end of this video, I want you to be able to use these tips to be able to practice any of the songs you want to learn, right? Or if you have a song that you need to learn in band, I want you to be able to learn that one by transcribing it or by learning it by ear. That's just the fancy word for saying that. So yeah, let's get started. The studio is strong. We have a ton of students, and any one of my students are able to do this. I have elementary students that transcribe on an elementary level. I have middle school students and high school students that are transcribing their competition solos and how they're working through learning their music. They're transcribing it first and then looking at the music secondly. And I have adult students who are transcribing their first jazz solo. This is their first jazz solo. How cool is that? They're older. They're trying to learn music. What a great way to learn music is learning it by ear. I mean, what you hear is what you play. So by focusing on what you hear in order to play, you guys will become better musicians. Let's get started. All right, so if you guys are enjoying some of this stuff and learning about transcribing and learning how to learn music, hit that like and subscribe button. Those are the best ways to help get more of this content out there, more of these practice tips and strategies and ways to work through music out there, because the more people we have following this thing, yes, the more people are going to be learning music, and that's the whole goal. As you know, the first thing we always do is make a plan of attack. So let's make that plan of attack. We've got our plan of attack here, and if you missed the last video, it's actually how to know your major scales. Go watch that. It's one of my live streams that I've done. I'm experimenting with going in and out of live stream, maybe doing video editing more. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So, goodbye. If you guys want to learn a tune by ear, follow these steps, right? 1, download a music app like AnyTune. AnyTune is a music learning app that lets you learn music through the audio, right? Through your ear. Lets you learn the music by yourself without having to read it. Lets you learn music the authentic way, in my opinion. So let's open up AnyTune. So after you download the program, go ahead and import your track that you want to download into the library here. You gotta have it into your library. You have to own the tune in order to transcribe it. But once you own that tune and you're able to transcribe it a little bit or able to work with it in this program, it becomes really easy. You can download this program on Apple iTunes, on any Apple product, but I don't think it's on Windows, unfortunately, or Android or whatever. But there are substantial and very, very good alternatives. So let's use this tune right here. This is There Will Never Be Another You, featuring Woody Shaw playing the trumpet. So our next tip is to go ahead and start transcribing note by note. That's the easiest way to get going. What are the first couple notes? It's going to let you know a couple things, such as key signature, such as style and rhythm, and where does it enter and whatnot. But let's get a couple tips for note by note transcribing for those beginners, because that sometimes is kind of hard. If we look at this, it could happen pretty fast. And this is not even full speed. See what happens here. Yeah, there's the solo. So it can happen pretty fast. That's a lot of notes, right? Especially for beginners to grab if you don't know your key signatures and you don't know what time you're in and all this stuff, right? If you don't know that, this app makes it easy to learn that. So one, I'm gonna set my loop right here. You can see I put A there, and let's just look at this first note, right? It happens pretty fast, right? I'm gonna put B right after it. I think the first note was right about there. And notice how small of a loop I made there. And that little small loop helps you to zero in on that note. So here we go. Woo, that is very, very annoying. I'm going to turn that off. But as you can tell, that one note, you can hear that over and over. You can grab your horn, and you can go ahead and play whatever that note might be, or guess what that note is, one note at a time. All right, then you would take B, and expand it out. Oh yeah, there's 2 notes. Now that might be a little too fast for you, so one of the coolest tricks and tips here is to slow it down a little bit. Right, let's slow it down to 60%. A little slower. When I first started transcribing years ago, I did this all the time, right? Just to get myself started, right? Then you do 3 notes. And notice you can see that waveform, which is the high and the low there, and where it stops and goes, the blue spot in between each note. You can hear and see all 3 notes. And you can already see how easy that is to grab. Make sure you use the slow down feature to help grab a couple more notes. Number 3, use your knowledge, the scales and keys, to help narrow down which notes you are choosing, right? So once you get a couple of those notes in there, figure out what key you're in. Figure out the scale that you're supposed to be using to transcribe this song that you're working on. So while we're in the middle of this lesson, tell me, are you transcribing anything? If you are, hit that in the comments below. I want to know what tunes you're transcribing. Are they pop tunes? Are they jazz tunes? Are they classical tunes? Because that's really cool. If you guys are classical musicians, transcribe classical music. That's a really easy way to get really good at your horn really fast. It's to learn that tune by ear instead of just solely relying on your eyes. Number 4, annotate to track practice. What do I mean by that? Annotate to track practice. Keeping track of where you are is kind of important day to day, right? If today you practice the first 20 seconds of a song, tomorrow you want to remember that you've done that. Well, with AnyTune, with most of these transcribing apps, you can see that there's numbers and ways to mark down where you're working. So you got 3, 4, and you can even see it down here at the very bottom of the screen where I'm circling. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've transcribed about 10 portions, and each of these are pretty evenly spaced. I believe I usually just go by 4 measures or by a phrase. I try to break it up where the phrase would happen, where the trumpet player plays the phrase. So when you're looking at that, it kind of helps you to keep track of what you're doing and make a progress bar. Like if today on day 1 you want to of transcribing this, you want to get to say number 3. I have a number 1 and 2 kind of set up as a pickup, and number 3 here. Maybe that's your first chunk. Maybe that's the first thing you've transcribed. Well, tomorrow you can review number 3. And the next day you can make a goal to make it to number 4. So before I even start to transcribe, I kind of segment each of these different ways to organize what I want to get done in what day. It kind of helps keep me on track, right? And lets me know what I need to review. Number 5, use loops to practice short phrases. Right? We were talking about tracking your practice as far as what you practice day to day. But if you are practicing day to day and you have that annotated mark, you can also loop that, right? So say today or day 4, right? Or if it's week 4, that's cool too. You are practicing from here to here, from 4 to 5, and we put that loop down right before 4 to right after 5. We can use that loop to practice. And one of the ways I like to practice with this is I hit play, and the first time through, I'm going around 20, let me turn that down. I'm going around 20% the tempo. Now that's really slow. I might not start at 20 because it's, at one point, too slow is kind of getting harder, right? But the next time through, when it goes on the repeat, you can have it go 25. And the next time through on the repeat, you can have it go 30. And you're playing along with this at the same time. So make sure when you're practicing this stuff, start slow and use these loops to practice this repetition. And start slow and then gradually increase the tempo that you're practicing it using something like this speed indicator down here. So number 6, get off the app. Use a net. Use a metronome. Get out of the music, because one of the things you've done here is you've learned to play along with someone. You're depending on, in this case, Woody Shaw, the trumpet player. You're depending on that person to guide you through the transcription, to guide you through the song. Well, you need to depend on yourself. So once you've transcribed that one little part, right, that one little itty bitty part, I want you to get off the app, load your metronome up, and see what happens. Can you play along with the metronome and recreate the feeling that you're playing with Woody Shaw, right? And an extra bonus tip, it's kind of a combination here of this tip, is alternate playing with the track and with the metronome, right? That's one of the best ways that you can do to transfer that knowledge of one, okay, I hear it, and now I'm copying it and seeing if I can do it. I'm hearing it and copying it, and then I'm seeing if I can copy it on my own. And by doing that, you're comparing and contrasting what you're working on versus what you are producing. All right, so that kind of concludes today's lesson. We did 6 tips on how to transcribe your first song. I think they're kind of some easy tips to get you going and to get you started with this. And if you guys are interested in this, let me know. I'd love to help you out a little bit more. We do a bunch of lessons here. We do a bunch of live lessons. We do a bunch of one-on-one Skype online lessons. Or if you're in the town of Dallas, right? I love Dallas. I live in Dallas. I love Dallas. But if you're in the town of Dallas and you want an in-home lesson, hit me up. I do free lessons. At least the first one's free, right? But yeah, if you guys are enjoying this content, like and subscribe down below. And more importantly, if you guys are teachers, share it with your students, right? If you guys are students, let me know what you're working on. I would love to help you out a little bit as much as I can. And if you guys are benefiting from this, make a video of yourself recording or playing or transcribing or doing something on your instrument, and there's a link in the description below where you can upload your video and send it to me, and I'll give you some personalized feedback. That's part of our online unlimited lessons subscription program, which currently is free for everyone to use, and that's why that link is down in the description. So yeah, thanks, and I hope that helped you out, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.